Welcome to Dobbs Ferry. Today we are celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Dobbs Ferry Fire Department. 100 years of voluntary service, not only to Dobbs Ferry, but to other communities, including Yonkers and Mount Vernon. Last night we started off this weekend with a fun parade. It involved bands from Dobbs Ferry, Ardsley and Hastings, and it was a good time. So if you see any of the guys in line walking down the street sideways, don't worry about it. They had a good time last night. My name is Scott Chevlin, and I'm going to be working here with Frankie Farrington, Jimmy Walsh, Brian Coffey, John Moria, and Martin Luckett. And for the next 2 hours, we're going to give you a feedback on the history of Dobbs Ferry. And we want you to enjoy yourself, so get out your six-pack, sit back at the bar, and enjoy yourself, because we won't be doing this for another 100 years.
And we'll be talking to people in the crowd. We'll be talking to firemen waiting to march. We'll be giving you shots of people as they march. And I can think of no better way to start this all off than to interview the Grand Marshal of this entire parade, ex-Chief Ned Allen. Ned, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Jim. God bless us with a beautiful day. It's a 5-year culmination of efforts that we put together to try and make this a perfect day in every way, and God helped us today. We had a good night Thursday night. We had a good fun time last night, and God willing, it's going to be a beautiful parade today.
Well, I did notice that you have a lot of people showing up, a lot of apparatus, and the weather is beautiful. Do you foresee any problems in this?
Well, there's an alcoholic haze starting to settle over the village right now, and I think it could be a problem about 3 o'clock this morning.
That's the only possibility.
That I see is the only problem at all. If anybody cop wanted to get a DWI tonight, this is the place to be.
Well, I just want to wish you lots of luck in your convention. I hope it turns out beautiful. You got all the makings of a fantastic time.
We certainly do. It's just a great day, and It's just proud to be Grand Marshal of a parade that celebrates the 100th anniversary of the Volunteer Fire Department. I can't say anymore. I'm just so happy everything's worked out just as well as it has so far.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Ned. I know you got a lot of work to do. Good luck. Congratulations.
Looking at the Palisades, we are sitting on top of the police department looking across. This is the famous Palisades where George Washington assembled his great troops for the march on the British. Here he met Rochambeau and a few other generals, preparing for the battle that eventually won the revolution at Yorktown. We are now looking up the street. We are seeing the dignitaries as they move into position. As always is the occasion when we have big parades, there are always all sorts of dignitaries, and today is no exception. The biggest dignitaries today is our own fire department. We are now going to move up the street with a beautiful sign there welcoming everyone, and we will move up and see what Jimmy Walsh and Brian Luckett have to say.
Thank you, Scotty, and we're here now with Annabelle Monteleone, a well-known figure in the village Dobbs Ferry. Mrs. Monteleone, how do you feel about this convention?
I think this is the biggest parade we ever had in Dobbs Ferry. A wonderful day and a wonderful turnout.
You're having a good time, then?
Wonderful, great.
You don't mind all this noise in front of your house?
Oh, I love it.
Okay, thank you. Back to you, Scotty.
The dignitaries today include the ex-chiefs of Dobbs Ferry, and quite a few of them. They are coming down in 3 beautiful old cars. They are the officers of the Westchester County Volunteer Firemen's Association. The chief of Dobbs Ferry is Danny Minosi, and Ned Allen is the chairman of this event. On the reviewing stand, we can see Roland Reed, and there's Chippy Flynn, a fine old senator who has represented the Westchester communities for a long, long time, and now part of the Bronx also, Yonkers and the Bronx, Chippy Flynn. The dignitaries are getting out of their cars. You have to have one of these cars, they're beautiful. And coming down, this impressive band coming down the street, beautifully attired in red. Let's listen to them for a minute as they march by. Impressive band, this. Beautifully attired in red and black. The band is preceded by our own Dobbs Ferry Fire Department. 100 years old today, Dobbs Ferry Fire Department. 1883. 1933. There are 7 divisions marching today. The 1st division will be led by Thomas Connaughton. The 2nd division will be led by Herman Myers. The 3rd division will be led by John Yazzo. The 4th division by George Keelan, that's an old name. Charles Schiavo will be in the 5th division. Tommy Cullen will be in the 6th division, and Frank Costello will bring up the 7th division. There are approximately 90 different pieces of apparatus on display today. There are 42 companies representing various communities in Westchester and Rockland, and as far away as Portchester and Long Island. None other than Ned Allen, who is the Grand Marshal of this parade. It is Ned Allen's birthday. He told me he's 39, but Jack Benny was 39 for a long time also. Well done, Ned Allen. You're a fine fire chief. The present chief is Danny Minosi. There are 50 trophies being presented today, different categories, such as the ladder, best ladder truck, antique truck, plus the best in line, the largest company. There's a lot of them. By the way, Ned Allen is a Scottish name, L-A-L-L-A-N. Frankie, what do you think of the man? What do you think of the marching band?
Oh, excellent group to march to, Scott. It's a pleasure marching down the avenue today with them.
Look at that. Don't look good.
He turned out very well for the parade, Scotty. Dobbs Ferry looks good. Just a great day for the parade. I think you'd probably agree out here.
I think last night was a great night. What do you think?
Oh, a lot of fun. Everybody had a ball. I think the villagers enjoyed it, and then the firemen themselves marching had a great time. I think
Hastings put on a good show.
Oh, they were fantastic. The ballerina beauties.
Yeah. They spent a lot of time working on that. The mothers and the wives, I understand, spent many hours working on these dresses that they wore.
Oh yeah, really a lot of work between the various departments goes into these floats and costumes, and it's a lot of fun, a lot of effort.
I thought our own Keystone Cox was funny.
Oh yeah, being one of them, I thought we did a good job. He had a great arrest, arresting Mayor Roland Reed.
Roland Reed up there.
And there we are, Mayor's out on probation now. He's being good.
He's on probation there. Going to have the handcuffs on afterwards there. By the way, he is running for State Supreme Court.
That's right.
And he'll be the first in Dobbs Ferry's history.
That's right, another plus, another feather in the cap for the village of Dobbs Ferry.
That's what it is.
There's Senator Flynn here.
Chippy Flynn is talking. Let's listen to him for a minute.
My colleagues in government, and distinguished members, officers of the fire department of Westchester County. May I ask Chief Minosi to come up here for a moment? I would like to present to him a proclamation.
Chief Danny Minosi is going to be presented with a trophy or a plaque from Chippy Flynn. Danny Minosi is a good chief.
Very good job.
Do you know that Ned Allen is 45 today?
Oh yeah, it's the birthday for Ned Allen.
Yeah.
It's quite a birthday party for the Grand Marshal.
It is. It's a grand occasion for him. Because he was a popular chief also.
The ex-chief, most recent ex-chief.
Lucy Mackey has a birthday today also, by the way.
Lucy, up the street in Sam's.
Pride in the state of New York for the job well done, and to wish them good success and good health in the years to come. Chief Minosi, I'd like to present this to you on behalf of the Assemblyman and myself.
Chief Danny Minosi has been presented with a plaque on behalf of the Assembly of Westchester. It has been presented by Chippy Flynn, standing alongside with Ned Allen, who is still talking. This main street has seen a lot of famous people come through.
Yes, I guess as soon as Mr. O'Rourke gets through, we'll talk a little bit about the history of the parades and the village itself.
This is Mr. O'Rourke, who is the Westchester Chief Executive Officer, who's up for re-election, I gather, in November. He took over when our President Lieutenant Governor Del Bella moved up. O'Rourke was a popular figure in Westchester politics for years. So he's going to present a plaque to Dobbs Ferry.
Celebration of the Dobbs Ferry Volunteer Fire Department. There are participating today 42 fire departments and some 2,000 marchers representing all of Westchester County and honoring this great fire company. And whereas the citizens of Westchester are pleased and honored and united congratulating the members of the Dobbs Ferry Volunteer Fire Department, both past and present, for their 100th anniversary and the tremendous duties they have performed and welcoming the Westchester County.
I think Ned Allen looks very good down there, doesn't he?
It's quite a story in Ned's part. Approximately a year ago, Ned was laid up with a heart attack. He's come back very strong, and it's just a great day to see him here on his birthday and having a great time as the Grand Marshal.
He was out playing golf the other day there. He told me he felt great, too.
He hasn't improved his handicap, but I know he had a good time on a golf course, Scotty. I know that.
Well, if it's like the rest of it, it probably cheats.
Shave a few strokes here and there, I assume.
Some people don't count the putts.
United States George accept these proclamations on behalf of the Dobbs Ferry Fire Department.
This is Danny Minosi accepting the various plaques and trophies for Dobbs Ferry. And I assume that they will be on display in the rest of the department eventually.
In the department quarters, sure. A very place of prominence, for sure, Scotty. Scotty, yeah, these apparatuses they parade by, they're arranged, they're not haphazardly arranged. As tradition, the chief of the department is from Resolute and Ladder Company, so they will be the first piece of apparatus by, followed by Ogden's apparatus, which is representing William O'Connor, first assistant, followed by Livingston Hose, the 2 pieces of Livingston Hose pumpers, and that symbolizes the second assistant chief, Bob Casino.
And I think the background of the names alone are interesting. The name Livingston is an old name coming from the States at one time.
One of the estates in the south end of town, I think they probably had a lot to do with, donating the money for the first apparatus, as in Ogden Engine Company was donated by David Ogden Bradley, and hence they took the name Ogden Engine Company. Yeah. Well, the Resolute Hook and Ladder Company, it's more or less an honorary name, like an every batteries, I guess, something always ready, resolutely in their...
Resolute is an old, it's a beautiful word.
Do you think you'll find some of the great names for fire companies as they parade down the avenue today? We'll try to pick some out as we go along.
We will.
I know this morning we had the remote crew doing some shots of the doors themselves. Some of the artwork is just tremendous, and if we have a chance, maybe we'll show them today. I know we'll have them later on.
We will. You know, it's interesting when you look at some of these firemen coming down the street, Frankie, the families that are connected with them, their father and sons.
Oh,
you know, you probably know them far better than I do. There's the Roth family.
The Roth family themselves. The Roth family probably dates back to the late 1800s, early 1900s. What I think it was Harry Roth Sr. Won an award for saving people. There was a burning of the city of Troy, a famous boat accident occurred off the shores, and he was one of the members that saved.
There was 3
award for heroism. It was Roth's. That's a family that goes way back.
Yeah. And then there's a George Keeling family.
Now that's an interesting story. There's 3 generations of Keelings presently right in Ogden Engine. George Keeling Sr., Jr., George III, and Michael Keeling. So it's great to see these names popping up. There are also the Keelings have some other families. Bob Keeling is also a member. George Sr.'s brother.
And it's interesting to note that Ned Allen has his son also in the fire department, carrying on his tradition.
That's right. That's an example of our junior fire department that Ed Jr. Received some basic training and some early interest in the fire department, and then it follows right through into the
what about Johnny Cullen? That's another famous name for you.
The Cullen family. I think we could go on and on about the Cullens. There's 3 brothers. John's father.
That's a wild family.
Just to run it down, John's father was an ex-captain in the department. Tom Cullen, John's older brother, an ex-chief. John himself is an ex-chief, and then John's brother Frank is also a member of Ogden. And John's 2 sons are also members of Ogden.
John, and Kevin, and then there's the Skeavels.
Charlie,
David, and Jerry. Right. And then there's John Sheridan and Frank Sheridan.
Special day, special weekend for John Sheridan.
Oh, yeah?
John's son is a member of Ogden, his son-in-law, and also John's grandson is a member of Ogden Engine. Besides having over 50 years of service in Ogden Engine, John received his 25-year certificate from the Westchester County Association.
Really?
I thought that was a great way to receive you're getting the award at your own hometown convention. I think it's a great way to.
Then you have
Elliot Bray, ex-chief. Elliot's father was an ex-chief who was passed away.
You have Augie Montleone and Rocky.
Right. And they're just leading each division are marshals, and they are ex-chiefs. And Tom Connaughton, ex-chief of Resolute Hook and Ladder Company, is leading the 1st Division.
And the 1st Division is made up of Hastings, Ardsley, Irvington, Copac, Portchester, and North Tarrytown.
Hastings is being led by Chief Bob Snibby, 1st Assistant Chief Bill Gunther, 2nd Assistant Jim Drum, and the 3rd Assistant Chief Charles Hoffman. Hastings will be our host next year, 1984. They're commemorating the 50th anniversary of their hook and ladder apparatus.
Yeah. They and Dobbs Ferry have worked closely together over the years and fire all over the area.
That's right. And keeping with tradition, too, in in the first division, you have next year's host, which is Hastings Fire Department, and also later in the first division, we'll have Portchester as a tribute to you. They hosted last year's parade. They'll be in the first division.
It's good to see them coming all the way from Portchester to honor them.
Oh yeah, they had a good turnout from Portchester. We had a great number of apparatus turned out this morning for the judging over in Stauffer Chemical, and I think you'll see various categories, pumpers, ladders, and also the ages vary too. So hopefully, be a lot for everybody to see today.
Yeah. We were talking earlier there about Main Street. You know that George Washington had his troops assembled here in what we now call Main Street.
There's a lot of legends that go back. Of course, we also have our place where Washington spent the night on the end of town.
Well, I think George Washington slept everywhere.
I think so.
Even in New York City. I don't know the name of the bar, but he was down there also. And the tavern, as a matter of fact, it was called a tavern. You know, the Dobbs Ferry used to be called the Queen's Village, the Hudson Valley's Queen's Village at one time.
Yeah, it's also called Greenberg, and it was an Indian name. I couldn't even try to pronounce it.
I know, I looked it up. It's an awful name.
For a time,
I'm glad we changed it. Yeah?
I'm glad too. So we probably wouldn't have a 100th anniversary if we had kept the old.
We probably been wiped off the map. You know. This Hastings is beautiful equipment to have.
They have a tremendous reputation throughout the county as excellent care of their apparatus. I mean, everybody does, but Hastings, I think, always puts that extra effort in. They've won a lot of trophies in the county competition.
There's Stanley down there.
That's Chief Stanley Rafferty is the parade chairman himself, and Ned is the overall convention chairman. Stanley's done a tremendous amount of work organizing the routes and the judges and the whole parade itself. And,
you know, Stanley's got an old. His name is a very old name in Dobbs Ferry.
Oh, the Raffers go back.
It goes back many years. Many years. We're now looking up the street. There's a small contingent coming down wearing an old black and silver type uniform. We'll get their names in a minute. The good thing is when we see these, we were talking before about the families, when people talk about how the kids not growing up the way we'd like them to grow up, it's funny how things work out well in the end.
I think the fire department has a lot of tradition, and I think it does a lot to mold people's outlook and just the idea of service to the community. I think that's great through the junior fire department and through the examples set by older members of the family that kind of carries on.
This is a beautiful band coming down. Let's listen to them just for a minute. Come on.
Our neighbors to the east, and they're led by Chief Fred Bockham, First Assistant James Macri, and Second Assistant Chief James Noon. Always good friends in the department, always there when we need them.
Oh, they look smart. They look smart, don't they?
It's a beautiful, one of our antique apparatus, old, or as he proudly calls it, Old Betsy.
Oh.
It's a 1929 Seagrave. It's still listed officially in service in Westchester County.
Is that right?
It's kept very well, it's kept in great shape though. It wins a lot of trophies throughout the county and the area for the time it can get pull a draft. It's a pumper. It still is in excellent shape.
This is a beautiful.
This is the Pearl River Cadets.
They are coming across the river. Aren't they beautiful? Look at this color. It's amazing the work that the volunteer firemen put into their job, you know.
And the whole thing, the job, the apparatus. It's a 7-day, 24-hour-a-day job.
It is a 24-hour-a-day job.
Well, that's our leading our neighbors to the north. Irvington on Hudson Fire Department.
Oh, our friends in Irvington. We have a great communication with Irvington as well as ours in Hastings. This is a good thing with the tri-village.
Oh yeah, it's really a mutual aid type thing. We're there for them and they're there for us. They're led by Chief Nick Gaspari, First Assistant Jim Brennan, and Second Assistant Mike Colantino. Just a quick note, Assistant Chief Brennan's brother William is a member of the Dobbs Ferry Fire Department. So again, family tradition is on. And
that's a good Irish name too.
All right. See, I don't know if John can pick it up, but Irvington has a great, if you look at the side panel on each door, they have a picture of Washington Irving, whom the village was named after. Just a great...
That is excellent.
Each one of their pieces of apparatus. Tremendous amount of artwork that goes into this.
This is a 2-year effort, which accumulates today.
Actually, I think the department planned on a convention about 5 years ago. Just a bid for the convention and procured it, and then formal planning started about 2 years ago. So quite an involved operation.
You know, I can hear the strains of a pipe band in the background there, Frank.
Ah, on the breeze.
And that's
the pipes and drums of the Westchester Firefighters Emerald Society.
It is.
They're leading the Copeg Fire Department down here. This is the only, in the United States, this is only the second Firefighters Emerald Society pipe band. The first, of course, being New York City pipes and drums. So it's good to see that Westchester is at least number 2 in this respect. They've played for a number of our parades. And we have 2 members, John Cullen, the next chief of the fire department, and his son, John Michael, are members of the... in fact, John's leading the pipers down the street, the drum major.
You will notice, Frank, that I have my hat also.
Well, Scotty, if you want that, maybe you should put it on now. It's about time to put it on.
Don't they look good, huh?
They're leading Copeg. Copeg's our friends from Columbia County, quite a distance away, but we've, through the personal friendships, like John Cullen lives up there in the summertime, and we've gone up there for parades, and they're returning the favor. They're coming down for our parades. And
it's a fleet moved up for the attack on the British, the culmination of the revolution that took place at Yorktown.
Of course, 400 years ago, approximately, the Half Moon sailed up the Hudson. It's funny, I think of the Half Moon, I saw that in one of the pieces of apparatus around here. Again, the tradition of the area kind of works its way into the fire department, the local history. Just a beautiful day on the river with the Palisades in the background. And
I don't think we could have picked a better day for this.
Oh, I think we made the water.
Yeah. We are sitting on top of the police department, and the Resolute Fire Company is just directly to our right. The Resolute who we are honoring. Frankie, this is beautiful band.
I tell you, they've only been in operation approximately 2 years, and they really have done a tremendous job.
For me personally, this must be the Cameron. This looks like the Cameron kilt they're wearing.
Scotty, you're the expert here. I don't even want to attempt to describe it.
This is the Cameron kilt, it looks like. Firefighters Emerald Society of Westchester, second only to New York City. They're a fine bunch. They do a lot of work. You know, we were talking earlier there about Stanley Raffer. Remember the overall director of this parade today? We were talking about the old names. You know, Stanley, he's one of the Zungili people. You know, one of the older names in Dobbs Ferry. Biano, De Polo, De Golio.
You know they came over from Zungoli, Italy.
Battagliano and Bucci and TC.
TC, of course.
You know that when the first Italian arrived here, he found that there was only 5 others in the neighborhood. But within the space of 20 years, they moved in from all over the area. The Jurios, the Scaparettis, the Schiavos, and they've all contributed in their own way to the life and social activities of Dobbs Ferry. This is a fine band coming down the street right now, led by a beautiful young girl.
Scotty, here's last year's host, the Portchester Volunteer Fire Department. And they're led by Chief Harry Hayes, First Assistant Bob Thalheimer, and Second Assistant Chief Vincent Lyons.
I was saying earlier on there, Frank, that maybe one or two of the firemen will be weaving from side to side today. That's to be expected after the good time they had last night.
I know they try their best because they're judged though on the way they march, the way the apparatus appears, the way their color guard takes.
Yeah.
So it's very tough after last night. They try to keep a good straight march, but they do the best they can.
But I think after 100 years they deserve to.
They deserve a good time, right, Scott?
They did. And I must say that the effort, as I said before, the effort of both Dobbs Ferry and Hastings was outstanding. It was quite funny.
Most of the local departments that border us that are very close to us came down, and also Bearplank made the trip south, which was great spirit on their part.
It's funny when you see them, when you looked at them last night, and then you see them today in their uniforms. What a difference.
That's right. It's a complete opposite. Maybe it's just letting one side of the personality out so they can get themselves frisked up the next day.
Although, what's inside the head must be one or two.
Right. Scotty, just one thing about these companies, they great ancient names. Here's this Harry Howard Hook and Ladder Company from Portchester. Harry Howard was
an old type dandy.
This is the North Tarrytown Fire Department, and they're led by Chief Glenn Insbury, First Assistant Larry Casilla, and Second Assistant Walt Ferguson. Just a quick point about that Harry Howard Hook and Ladder. He was a great chief in the New York City Fire Department. He came north to Portchester and founded a fire company, hence they named it after him. And that's how these names crop into the picture. We talk about birthdays, Scotty. Ned Allen's 45. Mechanical Hook and Ladder Company, which is the aerial apparatus coming down the street. Today they're 105 years old. Organized September 24th, 1878.
So they also work of celebration today.
Yeah, not kidding. They hosted the 1978 convention in honor of their 100th, and it's a great day to have a convention on your birthday.
Yeah, it is. That's a double celebration.
Again, we talk about the sides of doors, and we'll probably see that in our close-up, but on the side of this door, we see North Tarrytown is also known as the land of Sleepy Hollow, and on the door is the headless horseman chasing Ichabod Crane across the old Dutch, the old bridge in Sleepy Hollow. So it shows you again the local history works its way into the fire trucks and apparatus.
Tradition, of course, is an important part of the fire department, and I think without the tradition, you don't have anything at all. Tradition brings out the pride.
It gives us a sense of where we've been, and also gives us a little direction as to which way we should go in the future. So, and that, Scotty, and that ends the first division.
I only have Frank Farrington alongside me. We're going to move up the street to see what Jimmy Walsh and Brian Luckett are doing. They should be interviewing people on the street for their reaction and comments to this event. Brian Luckett and Jimmy Walsh.
We're here with another interested spectator in this convention parade. Hi, how are you?
Fine.
And your name is?
Kathy Manley.
And you're from?
Yonkers.
What brings you to Dobbs Ferry for this convention parade?
I came to see the Dobbs Ferry Fire Department march and the Westchester Firefighters Pipe Band.
You have a special interest in the firefighters pipe band?
Yeah, my boyfriend marches with them.
Okay, are you having a good time?
I am. It's great.
What do you think about the whole day?
It's super. Really, really nice.
Do you have any last wishes or comments for the fire department of Dobbs Ferry before we leave?
Good luck and happy birthday to Ned Allen.
Thank you.